tame me. You can't catch me on the run, cause I'm gone, yeah. I blaze trails, set fire to what's behind me. No, I'm never looking back, I'm on the run. I could only ever be what I'm made to be. Feels good when I'm living on the edge. Watch me now, go like thunder, gonna sacred ground. Can't stop me now, I don't give up and I won't back down. I'm a force of nature, can't beat. I got lightning running all through my veins. Watch me now, watch me now.
Hi, I'm Wyatt Milan. I'm from Canova, West Virginia. When I'm back home, you'll find me at my local Par-Mar store.
We have that gold and blue pride at your local Par-Mar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Par-Mar app and sign up for the Par-Mar rewards card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Par-Mar stores.
If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Oh, yes. Hello and welcome to WolfMan's. Oh, this is Thursday, June 29th. Coming at you. And this power shortage, this power outage is brought to you by Mon Power. Here at the studio here, the WolfMan's. As you can see, Penn State, 66 days away. We're 65 days away from PSU. Happy Valley. Yeah, let's go, Mountaineers. Let's get it ready. And if you see the lights come on in the Wolf's Den here at the studio, it will be a miracle. But we are broadcasting from what you call the hotspot of the Wolf's Den and coming at you. So let's get it going. Let's get after it. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're fired up. I look better in the dark. It's okay. I think Coach Johnson will probably agree with all that being said. And with that being said, let's get into this here bit, because this is what I would like you to do, if you will. And that, of course, is go ahead and subscribe on YouTube. West Virginia football and the voice of college football. Why? Because WolfMan's call rocks football. And you see today, great thing today with Al Johnson development. We're going to talk about a lot of football, more breakdowns, all this good stuff. And the best thing about all this together is it looks like we're doing it in the dark. If you got Facebook, share it. Go ahead and are you on there, Kelly McCord? You better share that. And if you're watching on Twitter, go ahead and please retweet. But without further ado, because the studio is very, very dark, and I'm getting a little bit nervous being by myself. So let's go ahead and bring in Coach Allan Johnson. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Are you ready to go?
I'm doing great. Wolf, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Hey, you know what? Sometimes you just got to do what? You got to improvise.
Yeah.
You got to adapt, adjust. I'm not in the Marines, but I am a former football player, which we go ahead and we just improvise on what you have to do to be successful, right?
No question. You're talking about a normal, typical play in football. You have to adapt and adjust and conform to what's available, right? What you can do.
Oh, that's for sure now. And I was talking to a friend of mine today, and he was telling me that we got to get your own segment with music. So for the next time that you come on, I'm going to have the intro, and the music will be there. I don't know what your music's going to be. I do know that it's going to be cool. I wouldn't leave you hanging.
Great. I appreciate that.
All right. Hey, listen, if you want to follow Coach Johnson, remember, he is, I got this down now, CSCCa. That's Collegiate Strength and Conditioning Coaches Association Chief Development Officer. and he is also in the USA Strength and Conditioning Hall of Fame. Is that 2004 or 2002? Can't remember.
2002.
All right, so you got 2 more years in there, and you are now here to do a series with us. We started last week with a general outlook at development. Coach, what do you have today for us?
I'll tell you what the biggest thing is just continuation of what we talked about last time about, several things you brought up was, one was, we talked about just basic skills that kids need to learn before they even start, let's say, for example, any type of strength training, handling your body weight, being able to jump rope. Those are things that are near and dear to my heart as a strength conditioning coach. And then there's the three things that I look at in athletes in terms of evaluating an athlete coming in, 18-year-olds coming into college is, can they hop? Can they skip? Can they jump? Can they shuffle? Can they karaoke? And can they jump rope? And those are things that you see that, some kids may be a very excellent athlete, but may lack these motor skills and maybe have never been taught or been exposed to it in long enough.
No doubt about it. Again, as I keep telling everybody, if you have no way to really go ahead and train your guy, it's about jumping rope. It really is. I mean, hopefully everybody can get a jump rope somewhere, and if you can go ahead and do that, I think that is so important to go ahead, because jumping rope is what it's really all about. It's the fast feet, man. I mean, Muhammad Ali wasn't great because he was always just great. He was great because he busted his can jumping rope.
There's no question. But hey, let's fast forward from, say, 20 years ago, 25 years ago. You drive down a block and be an open field or a park or whatever, and you see kids, running, jumping, hopping, skipping, whatever it may be. Now, I mean, how many, hey, where are the kids? You don't see them anymore. You don't see them out there doing hopping, skipping, jumping. I mean, you may see a select one or two here or there, but how many kids still actively do that? And if you talk in terms of improving your skill set, your movement skills, your speed, your explosive power, I mean, those are all things that are generated on playgrounds. And of course, we know the last 20 years, physical education in the school system has been cut back for the most kids. And so, they may be going from 3 days a week to 2 days a week or 1 day a week of physical education in schools. So now we're seeing kids that don't have these simple locomotive skills because there's not enough time to teach them.
Coach, let me ask you a question. Did Arnold Schwarzenegger, did he fail? Because he was out there in that education. Arnold Schwarzenegger, did he fail? But he was that whole thing about getting kids fit.
I don't think he failed. Then in all likelihood, it's going to die on the vine. I think that may have been the case with Arnold Schwarzenegger, with him pushing for fitness or for what was the National Fitness Council that he promoted? It was a nationwide. I mean, and sadly enough, I don't know if you hear as much about it or you hear about it at all anymore.
No, I don't think you hear about it anymore. That's why I asked if he failed. And then the reason why I'm saying that, and really I was just kidding about that whole movement of getting kids fit. And then you had, of course, Michelle Obama come in there, the president's wife, and she was talking about the food and the cafeterias, and that didn't go over well. So, I mean, where are we as a nation when we hear so much about, obesity and not eating the right and helpful foods? And honestly, there's just a lot of junk we're finding out in foods that we've done for years that they're just really coming out a lot with. That's probably not the best thing for you.
Well, no question. And you bring up a great point. In your diet, what you're eating, but and also activity level of kids is greatly reduced. I mean, I see a tweet here from Kelly McCourt. I agree with you. I mean, kids spend more time on their phones, their computers, etc. I mean, they're spending more time than ever, and kids are getting phones or getting iPhones at a younger age. And so, we as a nation, as parents, as guardians, for years, we've seen this trend going this way that kids were becoming less physical, less active, and we've since then we've condoned it. We've let it happen, and now we're getting what we've got.
Okay, that's an interesting question. As I guess we deserve it as a nation. I would say, oh, look at that, boy! I look much better right there in the dark, man. Okay, can you hear me
So
out?
hey, you pay, you pay the light bill. So the wife called the hey,
As I said, it's
give me
shortage by non-power, man. Let me see here. Let me get my microphone set up. Okay, and see what we got. Okay, are you there now?
I'm here.
Okay. Whoa, this is big
Technology.
time. Yeah, this is really big time here. So good. Well, listen now. So uh, I was pretty amazed. The air is back. I cannot tell you how excited I am. The air is back on and it is groovy and I feel a cool breeze. Okay, so let's talk about it today. So we're talking about we had going through this. As people are just not reinforcing to go ahead and get out. We're becoming an obese society. And what can we start doing? Is, I mean, you are, the strength and conditioning guru. So what does the nation have to do? Can we start? What programs? I mean, there's just so much to it, but you have to start somewhere.
If it's not, it's not real complex. The response to your question, the answer is not complex at all. The key is movement. Make your child or make your kids get outside, make them move. That's the first thing. I think that sometimes you look at let's say Fitbits and it tells you how many steps you're getting a day. Things like that. I mean, steps, just movement. I think just basic body weight exercises, basic. Walking. I'd walk before I jog. I'd jog before I'd run. Those are some things I would. But I would just say, try and make your kid more active. Maybe whether it be swimming, maybe be biking, maybe be walking. Just get them outside. Get them away from the computer, get them away from the phone, get them away from the video games.
What's wrong with the video?
Well, video games are okay if you keep them in the context with which they're probably made. Is if you don't OD on them. Try not. Hey, and you see, I hear kids say, "Oh yeah, I was on video games. Yeah, 5 hours yesterday." Well, there's probably 4 hours of your life that you've wasted that you're never going to get back.
Well, that's for certain, man. And we look at this whole thing of development that is develop all of this. And I mean, let's put it back this way. If you go ahead and you try to put all this together, the lack of exercise as youth. I mean, you're losing so much in the young days. I can remember being in the park, and I'm not trying to make this go back to my day and we had the best childhood and all that stuff. No, but what I'm saying is I was out all day. I was running, I was playing basketball, I was playing baseball, I was playing football, I was playing frisbee, I was riding a bike, I was, running around acting crazy, being Army GI Joe, in the woods, and all these things. Where does that lead for our athleticship overall when it comes to applying to sports? Like, you're missing out your base. So what I'm saying is, are we lacking in athleticism as a nation? There's going to be special athletes no matter what we do. We see them every day in sports right now. But the more that we keep doing this and the more that they keep on video games and on their phones, are we going to see a fall off in overall athleticism?
I don't think there's any question. I think you're going to see kids. I think you're going to see kids get distracted, and I mean distracted in terms of, maybe they have the opportunity to be a very good baseball player, or maybe be a good track sprinter, or whatever it may be. They get distracted and they get caught up in all the things that really don't matter. Things like you're talking about, video games, computer, iPhone, etc. And they're thinking, man, it's hot outside. The thing that you just mentioned, which brings up a great point, you're talking about in your generation, my generation, you used to go out, you played, you ran, you swam, you frisbeed, you bike, you basketball, all these things, and your mom would have to call you to dinner. She'd have to call you to dinner. Now, they want to come inside 2 hours before dinner because it's too hot outside. It's too cold outside. I think the more that you as a parent can take your kid and try to get them out of their comfort zone, that's the thing I think is a key to become more focused, more goal oriented, becoming just a little bit tougher for whatever you choose to do. Is I think just being taken out of your element, taken out of your comfort zone, and being exposed to different things. Then once your child gets a certain age, I've exposed them to all these things, maybe ages 8 through 12. Now we hit 13. Now they start making some choices of some things they've been exposed to as far as activity and movement and fun and exercise and all these things. So we hope we've guided them to the point where, we're leading them to the water. Now, if they choose to drink, they can. If not, they continue on a path or journey that they choose.
All right. Very cool. As I keep continuing, if you're wondering why there's so much going on and all craziness, it's because we've had a power outage that we came on. I thought we did pretty good here, Coach. We got it going on. I am pretty dark right here. And let's see what I have to do this. Excuse me as I go ahead and get this on. All right. Well, I look pretty dark, but it's okay. So we're back together. We're back on. All right. So let's get into this development thing here. What did you really, as a continuation of overall, we talked a little bit about the nutrition. We talked about the nation being and suffering. Okay. And we talked about now is how we turn it around. Okay. Getting into, I really liked the subject last week of whether or not we should get into personalized coaching. Or whether you should have just go with the high school strength coach, middle school, whatever coach. Because, when you look at it, because it seems to me there's a quarterback coach, there's offensive line coach. I can remember I coached offensive, the touch punch, if you remember that. All the stuff that we used to do, the hand trapping, offensive, defensive line. And when I apply it to sports specific, okay, there's so many outside influences. How much can you do? And that doesn't even get to the fact or the point where I want to ask you about the other sports contributing and developing your athleticism, which I was alluding to growing up with all those different aspects. So first, let's go to going in these sports specifics, training. Do we need to have all these extra coaches? I might get killed. I might get a bunch of hate mail from a lot of people. But what is it? Do we really need all this?
First and foremost, I think kids need to be loyal and trust their coaches, whatever teams they're on. I see too many helicopter parents that they want a like you say, a quarterback coach, they want a throws coach, they want a shooting coach, whatever it may be, and they don't trust the process with their coaches in their schools. There may be some things supplementally that you can do, but it's not going to become. It's going, and I use that word loosely. It's a supplement. It's a supplement to what you're doing, but it can't overtake and consume what you're doing in terms of what you're doing through your coach and your team. What happens a lot of time, I think you see kids who maybe don't work out with their team. Let's say you're in high school. You don't work out with your team. You go to the guru down the street. Well, let me ask you a question. What happens to the concept of team? I'm not around my teammates very much. I'm not around them as much as I can, but I am trained with the guru down the street. And there may be some benefits. I'm not going to say there isn't, but I think you lose that whole concept of team when the athletes themselves are not with their teammates training.
Wow, that's really an interesting point. My goodness, I did never really look at it that way about losing that whole team concept. Huh. I mean, it's okay. So I get that. Very cool. What's your solution to that then? I mean, you got to make a call here. Are you saying yay, nay? I mean, I know that you see. I remember. Okay, let's go back to this because I remember back in the day with you at West Virginia University, you would not want us to have outside coaches. I don't think, at least about for weight training and conditioning and nutrition as well, right?
Exactly. No, and you know what? And still to this day, even going through the different steps, different journeys, different places I've been, I still don't agree with athletes going to outside entities for the same thing they can get from their strength conditioning coach. The difference with an outside trainer, an outside performance coach is, here you are as a strength conditioning coach. I'm working with 120 athletes. Let's say football, for example. That personal trainer may be working with 2 to 5 athletes at a time. So you talk about the opportunity to really hone in on personal things. Is the environment, is it the same time of accountability and discipline that you have with a team setting? Or is it we're having, we're working, but we're having too much fun. But I would say, I'm still would not change my thought process on athletes going to performance coaches or personal trainers outside the realm of their coaches.
Okay.
And the thing is, I'm going to ask is I want if I'm a parent, I want to know if that coach at the high school, my high school coach, what are his qualifications other than being the basketball coach or the baseball coach or the football coach? What are his qualifications to take me in a weight room? I don't want him doing the same thing with me. God bless him. He's getting a stipend to do extra work with me in the weight room for the summer or off season, but I don't want him doing the same thing with me that he used 20 years ago when he was in high school or she was in high school.
Right. No, those are great points. And let's see what Keith here says. And to you, Jackson Johnson. Hey, by the way, I'm going to interrupt here. Jackson Johnson, I'm going to do a show with him July 3rd. So, Jackson, you need to put up how to get you. You're doing the show. We're going to talk about BIT, the Backyard Brawl, and probably how awesome I am. But with that being said, Jackson, go ahead and put it up there so people can tune in Monday night, I think, at 7:30 or sometime, whatever it might be. Getting back here to Keith. Sometimes these kids are overcoached, Al. They become confused and lose their confidence. It's a fine line between coach and personnel coaching. Personnel coaching, not personal. Personnel. Well, I think he meant personal coaching. All right. So not only is it confusing and they lose confidence, but they can overtrain and not have the.
There's no question. There's no question. And then we've created issues and problems and injuries, and the kid is failing. Maybe the skill development's not keeping up with the amount of training they're doing. They're overtraining, and so the kid maybe runs slower, jumps a little less, doesn't have that same drive because they're burnt out because mom and dad have pushed them. They're not only doing what's required of their team, but now they're taking them 3 days a week or 3 nights a week to a personal training coach. And so what happens is when the kids are young, they're shaking their heads like bobbleheads. Yeah, we're going to do this. I want to do this. And as they get older, like, man, I'm tired. I don't have a chance to be a kid. And I think that's part of the thought process sometimes with, doing too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So, that's really, I remember some of my friends that their father just absolutely was right behind them. Right. Just all the way. You look at that 10-year-old Gronk kid right now. He's up there. Did you see that about this 10-year-old kid? Yes. Yeah. Father, take a step back, man. Let this kid breathe, right? But with that being said, I've seen kids get hurt, Coach. Their stress fractures and stuff like that because they're just not they're just overtraining and overdoing it. Actually physically hurt. Not the oompa, but broken bones or cracked bones.
There's no question. And you're creating not knowing. I'm the parent. I want my child to be the best of the best. I want them to be better. I want them to grow and reach their full potential. But on the flip side, I'm creating more than I'm developing in terms of, overuse, losing confidence, possible injuries. These are all things that you need to look at because it's a really fine line of overtraining. And what happens, let's say, I go to a personal coach on the side, I'm with my other coach at my school 4 days a week. And what happens is my performance starts to suffer. And I don't know why that is because I'm doing everything I'm asked to do. I'm trying to push harder. And as a result, I reach a point where I'm stagnant, I'm stale, I'm tired all the time. And I don't understand why. And the reason maybe, again, we mentioned overtraining.
Okay. There's so many things I want to talk to you about this. I'm just trying to put them in logical order. Let's get back to the father. Now, what's the worst things that you see with a father? Like, how do you tell a father to back off that's pushing too far? I mean, in your opinion, obviously you're not the enforcer, but you are a guy that has 40 years of knowledge, and you're saying, dude, man, you really need to lay back.
I tell you what, I mean, every situation, every case is going to be different as far as like approaching a parent. But I mean, you gotta. I tell you what, I think that's one of the worst things with youth sports is these helicopter parents. I think it's one of the worst things because the kids are under a lot of pressure. I'm a 9-year-old, and I'm going to baseball practice 4 days a week, and I'm with a pitching coach 3 days a week. My dad's got me with the personal trainer down at Joe's Jughead Gym 3 days a week, and what happens is they don't know what they don't know, and what happens is a kid, over time, you create negative problems and issues. But I just think that dads, I mean, at some point they got to back off. First I go to the coach, I go to the dad and say, hey, let me ask you a question. Do you trust me? Do you trust what I'm doing with your child? I've got this certification, I've got this experience, etc. Blah blah blah. Do you trust me? If they say yes, then I think you got a chance to get them to back off. If they hem-haw around and they don't really, well, dad, well, coach, blah blah blah, that means that you're probably never going to change your mind. They're going to continue being a helicopter parent, and they're going to stick their nose in everything. Then the worst thing is, look at this, as coaches. How about when kids are looking into the stands and the dad or the mom is up there, giving them signals or saying stuff to them or words saying, lip syncing, do this, hustle, don't do this, don't do that. I'm thinking, wait a minute, am I coaching the team or is your mom 17 rows up coaching the team? Who's coaching the team here? And so I think those are all issues that, hey, are not going away. And in some cases they've gotten worse.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, I would hate to be in youth sports today. Oh my gosh, I have no desire whatsoever to be involved in that. But speaking of youth, and I actually had this conversation with Neil Brown, and head coach at WVU, obviously, and Neil said he likes recruiting kids, and I'm talking specifically football now because that's what he's an expert in. That played many sports, numerous sports, and he talked about it developing different parts of the body. And that if you were in football, sometimes you wouldn't get what that wrestler got. Or maybe that's not the best example, or the basketball player got, maybe with the footwork. And what the wrestling got, you wouldn't get with basketball. It's so it'd be just the more sports that you do trains different parts of the body that some other sports do not. Do you agree with that?
I don't think there's any question. The one thing I can tell you, I can use an example of my own son. I know growing up, he played soccer, and I wasn't a big fan of soccer and came to like it. I didn't say I loved it. I liked it. But the one thing I noticed when kids were in probably 7th grade, 8th grade, kids that played basketball, football, I looked at kids and I would look at their movement skills. And I could tell you probably 8 out of 10 times the kids that had a background that played soccer because their movement skills, their change of direction, their stop and start ability was better than other kids who did not play their sports growing up. But I think all these sports contribute, multi-sport athletes, going through the process can make them better at whatever sport they hone in on. So if I played 2 or 3 different sports growing up and then I chose soccer, baseball, basketball, football, etc., I think it only makes me a better athlete.
All right.
Think about this. We go back to talking about these kids being fat, talking about being lazy, talking about being obese. Think about this. If we can get them involved to play, another sport, we're going to keep that competitive edge for them. Because if I play one sport, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But if I play 2 sports, now it's going to help keep that competitive edge and make me more competitive for my main sport or for both sports.
Yeah. Actually, I played a lot of sports in my time growing up. And I think that really benefited myself. And I think that I allowed my son, a couple of my sons, to just be, get in there and do weights and stuff. And I just don't think that they benefited enough as if I would have made them go more sports. Now they played basketball, so I mean they actually went and did two sports, so it wasn't so bad. I just think that we haven't even brought up track and field. I mean, for what that teaches you. How do you feel about track and field?
I think track and field, you're talking specifically about sprints, right?
Sprints, or what about the shot put for a big man? Explosion, right?
There's no question. I mean, explosion, any type of sprint, you're talking about the 100, 200 meter. You're talking about the relays. You're talking about improving your speed. You're talking about improving your linear speed. You're talking about the throws, whether it be shot, disc, javelin, hammer throw. I mean, it's going to improve their explosive power. It's going to help them learn how to coordinate their body and with movement, with an implement. I think there's a lot of benefit to it.
Yeah, I mean, I've just been really thinking about that. How track and field, increases your flexibility too, right? I mean, isn't that flexibility is exactly what you want as an athlete to have that, so that you may endure most different sports and be able to compete in them because you are flexible. When you're tight, man, you're tight. I mean, there's nothing worse than seeing a cornerback or a safety trying to cover a receiver with tight hips. You know what I mean? It's the same. And you can put the same thing about an offensive lineman against a wickedly fast rusher on the pass pro. Tight hips aren't going to survive.
There's no question.
Basketball, I mean, any sport you want to talk about, soccer, same thing.
But when you think about especially males, males start losing flexibility from like age 11 or 12 on. So if I don't continue to work on flexibility, which how many 11 and 12-year-olds do you see working on flexibility? Not many. But once they reach that age, they start to see a decrease in their flexibility if they don't work to sustain it or keep.
Okay, Al. All right, well, I think we had a problem there, Al. Why don't you see if you can come back on here, and we'll see what happens there. Coach Al Johnson, hey, listen now. You can follow Coach Al on Twitter. Again, he is the Collegiate Strength and Conditioning coach for Coaches Association. He's the Chief Development Officer. He is in the USA Strength Hall of Fame. So let's see what happens here with Coach. It's been a hectic day, everybody. It's the power went just shot right here at the studio. The WolfMan's den, the Wolf's Den, has been down. The lights have been off, so it's been chaotic. I appreciate Coach Al dealing with this. We got off to a little bit late start. We were on, the hot spot, and just keep going on. But if you want to follow Al Johnson, it's at MT Pride 51. Chief Development Officer, CSCCa, MSCC, former college pro, strength and conditioning coach, and he loves mountains. All right, so he loves the mountains. All is good. Let's see what we got here. Al, you there? You'll go, all right, Coach. Well, that's it for this week, man, and we'll see what we got there. And I probably screwed you up here because something knocked on, knocked off with the whole power situation. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on. And I see you got your bars there. One more time, Coach. One more time. Are you there? Hello? Nope. I think that's the power outage. And, Coach, we'll talk to you next time. And appreciate you so much in your development. Think about what he just said. All the things. He went from nutrition to talking about youth sports, talking about, over-aggressive parents. Who's coaching who? Are you trusting the strength and conditioning coach? Are you trusting your sports-specific coach? Should you get a coach on the side? So many things they just gave us. It's just great information. I really appreciate it because only here on the WolfMan's Call is he doing a weekly series every Thursday, doing the series starting off right at 4 o'clock, right off the bat. Well, okay. Let's see what we got. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, all right. I just gave a great summation on everything you talked about today, but there's one last thing I did want to actually get into. Well, and
You're echoing.
what's that?
You're echoing.
I'm echoing, because you got two links up here. Okay. Let's see here. You got three up there. How's that, Al? Is that better?
Yeah, much better. Thank you.
Uh-huh. All right. That's because it's been a crazy day. But we keep going, right? We just keep going.
No
And,
question.
and so let's just keep plugging it away here. And this is Wolf. I got a question for Al. I think it's among the mind of a few people. Seems to be known that Georgia is winning because of conditioning. What's your thoughts, Al?
I think it's a combination of things. I think it's, I think conditioning is one. Also they're recruiting an elite athlete. But I think conditioning. I mean, look at, and Wolf, you know this, and we've seen this and experienced this for years. Is fourth quarter. I want to look at the team. I want to, and as coaches, as athletes, look at teams, and that's a great question, by the way. Look at athletes. Look at the kids, especially D linemen, offensive linemen, late in a game. Are their hands on their knees? Are their hands on their hips? It tells me that they're tired. Watch them come off the ball. If they're not coming off the ball very fast or as explosive as they were, I mean, obviously fatigue set in somewhat, but I think that's a great question. I think conditioning obviously can enhance and improve that. And usually the better conditioned teams win, or at least they think they can win because they're in better condition than their opponent.
And it doesn't hurt to have a lot of 4- and 5-star football players.
No, certainly not at all. Not at all. But the thing is, with the 4- and 5-star athletes now, I got to worry about from the neck up. Are they willing to work? Are they willing to put forth the effort? Are they willing to? Do they think they're already developed enough to play at an elite level? Do they think they're just going to walk into Georgia and play and compete against Alabama and play in the national playoffs? I mean, those are the other things that you got to think about. But conditioning certainly plays a big role in that.
Yeah, there's no. And Alex here, he's just continue on it. Alex from the Ohio State logo, Alex Martin. Lots of us have seen the way they practice. It's brutal running for days and days and days. They have lungs and whoop people in the fourth quarter. You said it, Al. You said it, man. All right. Very good.
Fatigue makes cowards of us all. Fatigue makes cowards of us all. And the thing is if you don't give in, if you don't tap out, we're all gonna tap out in a game or a contest. We're all gonna get tired. I just want to make sure that my opponent taps out before I do.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And Alex, great questions, man. He keeps coming on here and throwing some good questions out there. Good job, Alex. Thank you.
Very good questions.
And the last thing I got for you, Coach, is when I think about this, and if let's just say I don't have a lot of money, okay, and I do have a youth that's starting out in 7th grade and don't have a lot of money for equipment. What's a good way to start out with basic training? I don't care if it's a guy, a gal, I don't care who it is, just not a lot of equipment. You talked the week before about being strong for body control, being able to move one's weight around. So I'm going to incorporate, just say you're going to incorporate that into it. But what would you do to start setting up an actual workout?
Well, what age group are you talking about, Wolf?
Well, I'm saying 7th and 8th grade, junior high kids, where they could really start developing a little bit.
Well, I tell you what, great question.
I think it's a really good question.
I think it's an excellent question. I think the only limiting factor in this question is how creative you are, or your lack of creativity. Because I can tell you, I had a kid when I was coaching high school, first 3 years before I came a GA at West Virginia, way back. Remember, a kid missed the activity bus, this running back. And so he didn't have a way home after school. After he stayed and he worked out with us after school. And he lived on a farm, and he couldn't work out all the time with the team because he had to go home to his chores, etc. So this one day after the workout, missed the activity bus, said, "Coach, can you give me a ride?" So went up this whole dirt road. So pulling up this whole dirt road, what do I see? I see planks of wood, like 2x6s, 2x8s, nailed across tree stumps. I see axles of cars and trucks and hubs with the rims on each side. And so I'm asking, I said, Glenn, is that what I think it is? He said, yeah, coach, it is. I said, so that's your weight room? When you can't work out with the team, that's what you're using? He said, yes, sir. So he'd lay down across those 2x4s and do a bench press with these car axles, with these different implements that wasn't a weight room. But what I'm saying, the other thing that limits you, I mean, hey, first of all, if you got a 7th and 8th grader, you want to make it fun, because if I grind them, they're not coming back. They don't enjoy it. I want to dangle the carrot to get them into it, to work out. But the thing is, things like, lifting rocks, lifting sandbags, doing body weight exercises, chins, dips, all those types of jumping rope, all those things, as far as the developmental thing, those are the things that I would use. If I didn't have any equipment at all, shoot, I'll tell you what, I would improvise. I'd take wooden dowels and I'd hang sandbags off the ends of them. I'd hang rocks, whatever it would take. But I make sure, because you think about strength. What's the definition of strength? It's an overload. I got to overload the body with an outside resistance. And if I do that, I've got a chance to get stronger. And the thing is, I'm going to lose that kid if I grind him. If I grind him in 7th and 8th grade, just grind him, I'm going to lose him. So I want to keep him confident. I want him to be eager to come back in the weight room. And that's kind of the attitude that I've had as a strength coach. I wanted to push and make kids better, but there had to be some element of, try to keep it positive. Try to keep it fun to a degree. I mean, the only place where work comes before success is in the dictionary. And so, with that being said, those are the things I would do, and I would do just the basic things until I could get, or when I could get into a weight room with equipment.
Yeah, that's pretty good stuff. I don't know if you remember me in college pushing my Jeep up the facilities parking lot, the incline there. We were pushing the Jeep up there. Oh, the good old days. Were
you there when we used to push the car up the parking lot? We had 2 guys, like a big guy and a small guy, and we'd push them for time on Fridays. Were you there?
Well, I wasn't there for the time. We did that when you had us do that, but it wasn't. I know you're talking about. That was back. That was like in the late '90s. That was the late '90s, I think.
Yes, we did that. We pushed that thing, and we spray painted the names of all the teams that are going to play that year. At the end of the summer, Wolf, we took that car as a junk car. It had no engine in. It had brakes in the steering wheel. It had 2 doors, 4 doors, whatever it was. We took it up behind the press box. Took it up behind there. Guys put goggles on, and we had 11 teams spray painted on the car, around the car, Rutgers, Penn State, etc. And we had bowl game, just the word bowl game. And each kid on the team that was there at the end of the summer got 12 hits on that car, 12 hits with a sledgehammer, with goggles, and just completely destroyed the vehicle. But just little things like that to motivate kids, is about work, obviously, but it was also about fun and ending the summer.
All right. Excellent. Now you see Marcus Dupree used cinder blocks because he didn't have a weight room in high school. Best running back that never was. Okay, Marcus Dupree. All right, Alex. And Alex also says, Al, that Coach Mickey there, Moretti, you trade him, that he needs to get Ohio State running more. I don't know. I think they do pretty good. I don't think. Do you think the Buckeyes lost because you trained, or you were a strength coach with the Buckeyes?
Mickey was a GA for me. Mickey was a GA at West Virginia for me.
Oh, yeah, I remember Mick now. But do you think that they lost to Georgia because of conditioning?
Heck no. No way, shape, or form. You know what? Hey, the stars lined up. The stars lined up that day, that night, in that game. And you know what? Somebody has to win, somebody has to lose. And the thing is it's about – and a lot of it's not about the physical preparation in the game. It's not about the physical preparation. I say more than half of it is the mental preparation.
Don't even get me started on that, and because the mental preparation, and that's what I've been talking about. This whole thing of getting this Mountaineer team, these young guys, getting ready to go into Happy Valley, man, to go be ready, because it's not so much about your physicality because Mike Joseph is working those guys out just like anybody else in college football. But what's in between the years, man, to handle all the obstacles that actually comes to playing at Penn State, besides a team that's in top 5 in the country, both on both sides of the football. So I mean that's what I'm talking about. If they want to go up there, they want to win, they want to make a good stand, whatever they want to do up there to improve. And because you know what, Al, as they're Kirk Herbstreit and Pat McAfee's they're laughing at the Mountaineers saying they can't win 6 games. That to me, that's a national joke that they turned that into, which it shouldn't be right here because we all go way back with that pride, that legacy, and we don't want that for our young guys, right? I mean, we don't want that for our young brothers. So again, I want to say it's up here.
Well, you know what thing is, hey, Wolf, I don't know about you or any of the listeners out there. You know what? I want them to pick West Virginia to go 0-12. I want a chip on my shoulder. I want no one outside of the family and the community around WVU to believe that they can win. You know what? And let's don't browbeat them. Let's don't slap them down. Let's don't kick them. You know what? Let's give these coaches and this team a chance to show their body of work. I mean, what I'm saying, I know there's going to be somebody out there right now. We're going to get a text that says, "Hey, they've had 4 years to show that." I want to tell you what. Hey, that's history. Don't live in the past. Let's move forward. And let's see what happens. You know. But I think that I think that it's I don't think it's a lack of effort. I think that it's at some point it'll come together. Now, when? I don't know, but I'm still drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm sorry. I'm probably just upset some people, but I'm still drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm a diehard Mountaineer fan like you are, but I think that they're in the game. They're in the game, and
I am dead set in this now, Coach, and I've said this before, so I'm saying it now. I believe they can be successful. They have to do certain things to be successful, and that's what it maintains. They have to be able to install in a very short time some guys that are going to be key leaders that they have to be able to lead as well, and to be able to understand what is at stake, where they're at, be able to overcome obstacles. Now, again, they don't have to beat Penn State to have a good season or a very good season. They don't have to do that. But what they do have to do is be able to come out of Penn State with either a victory or confidence or understanding that they need to get better and know what they need to do. I remember when we went 1 and, I want to say 4. We went to the Card Quest Bowl. Remember that, Coach? Were you there with us? And we were 1 and 4, and we won the last. I think we finished 7-5 or 7-5. That was with the bowl game loss. So we finished. So we won the rest of the games, and we got to the bowl. Didn't think we were going to do that. That was after '93 Sugar Bowl. So again, starting out weak, but we turned it around. So no matter what happens in that first game, they could go ahead and turn it around. But I want them to be real cerebral, Coach. I want them to be real cerebral. If they don't have the experience, if they don't have the knowledge, as you said yourself, you don't know what you don't know. And after that Penn State game, I think they're going to know what they need to know.
Right. Hey, and Wolf, you're only playing Penn State one time. You only got to beat them one time. You know, if you played them 10 times, hey, who knows? Maybe you beat them 3 times or 4 times or whatever it may be. But you know what? You're only playing them once. On that night in Happy Valley, put it together and believe that you can win and you can be successful. That's all it takes. It takes just a belief in yourself and the team. You know, but you're only playing them one time. You only got to beat him once.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And Alex is even saying Kool-Aid works, Coach. So he's telling you he's in. He's a Buckeye. He doesn't like losing to Georgia. He wants to win the national championship. You're a Buckeye yourself, so I'm sure you feel the same thing, Coach. And I really appreciate it. Listen, I'm going to let you get going. You answered it this week. You got to come back next week. It's the 4th of July on Wednesday, I think. Or is that Tuesday? I think it's Tuesday. So are you going to be back here next Thursday?
Yes, next Thursday, which is what, the 7th, right?
I'm sure. 6th. I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you.
You know what? Why are you asking? Wait a minute. Why are you asking me? I'm going to pop up my calendar and I'm going to look here.
It's the 6th.
Thursday is the 6th.
July 6th.
Okay.
July 6th.
And it's July 6th. You are back on it. I appreciate it. Hey, next time, hopefully the power will be on here at the Wolf's Den for the Wolfman's Call with Coach Allan Johnson. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you. Love you, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Love you too. Appreciate time. Take care.
All right. Okay. Coach Allan Johnson, man, if you don't dig that guy, I tell you what, that's a really special dude with a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience. And he actually still drinks some Kool-Aid. So I guess he's not all nutrition because he likes that Kool-Aid and belief. And you know what? If 1980, if the USA hockey team didn't believe they could beat those Soviet bad guys, they would not have. So Kool-Aid, belief, whatever you want to call it, is a big deal. And Alex Martin and Mike Rollinser, I got your 7-5 prediction. That's good. I'm glad you're all happy. I should say happy, but it's a positivity. It's not a losing record. It's over the 4.5 that Vegas given, and so that is good. And we'll have to keep going with that. A couple things I want to just jump right into because I went a little bit longer with Coach there because I wanted to get the most out of this development. Anytime you can get a Hall of Fame strength and conditioning coach, I don't think it's very often you do a series with him that he's willing to do. And so I want to get the most out of that. But I promise you I would go ahead and bring on some film to break down. Now, this is pretty cool here because I love the trap. And let me get this all situated right here because I don't want to screw this up. Okay, right there you see the tight end to the right. You have the quarterback and the running back there. You see the X's are the defense. Okay, you have one X all the way to the quarterback's right is a 5 technique, outside shoulder, or I'm sorry, a 9 technique, outside shoulder of the tight end. You see the X over the right guard, and that is a 3 technique, outside shoulder. You see the X over the left guard is a 2I, maybe it's a 1 if it's over the center or shade on the center, and then you have a 5 and the X over there. This is the trap game. This is a quick hitting. All right, this is what Ronnie, my brother Ronnie Paul, Pony Boy, that he used to run all the time at WVU. This is what the Steelers run a ton of, that inside trap of my brother Craig pulling the guard, and just huge impacts. Short times, all these offensive and defensive linemen colliding, and it's tough. So let's go ahead and open this up. Let's see what we have here for the play. What is the trap? Well, you're going to see that right guard, and it's all based upon the right guard because he has to set up that 3 technique, that X right there that you see. He has to set that up, and what he wants to do is what Mike Jacobs had me always do was I had to influence him. So because the defensive lineman is taught to close down. When an offensive lineman goes away, he's taught to close. It doesn't matter if it's a 3 technique, 5 technique, 9 technique. It doesn't matter because any one defensive lineman can get trapped. So with the guard, the right guard going up to the middle linebacker, you want to jab right, and then because what do? You jab right, that defensive lineman thinks you're coming outside, but then you go quick back under. You'll see that here. And that we'll go ahead and look up the next one. And right there. Okay, so you have, there is the center. He is blocking back on that 1 technique or the 2I, whatever that might be. He might be a gap player, which is right in between both of those. And we'll keep going here. And there goes the left tackle. He's going up, cut off the inside shoulder of the linebacker. And the right tackle is going up and trying to do the same thing for that Sam linebacker, and the tight end is there on the 9 technique. Now you see the left guard is pulling out. So you have the right guard going outside and ducking under. The center is going back. It's called a back block. And that left guard is bucketing, trying to get the inside shoulder of that 3 technique over the right guard. This is the trap, and it's most basic, essential. I love the trap. I love this play. Why don't they do it more often? Why? It works so well for so many years, and the wheel goes round and round and round. What goes away comes back. Well, here we go. Right there. Let's take a look at, you see the finale there of the trap. Make sure you get that inside shoulder of that 3 technique to create the separation, to create the lane. You see the Washington Redskins, and you see the right guard is going to give a little fake step. Now, let's just make one thing clear here. Okay, as you're looking at this, this is a wide three. Wide three means that both over the right guard is a three technique, and over the left guard is a three. So this makes it even easier for the inside trap, but this was a good illustration I wanted to show. So you're going to see the right guard is going to go up, and you can see the left guard is going to pull around. Right guard is going to influence and up to the backer, as you see right there with the scribbly lines. And you see it? There you go. You got to set up that defensive alignment is the key. There you go. Did you see the right jab? Did you see it? I'm telling you, it's good stuff, because look at the defensive lineman there. He's missing. His head is down. He doesn't even know that this left guard is coming to trap him. Oh, watch out, man. Oh, look at that. Now, what's wrong with this whole thing? Everybody's doing a great job except for who? That right guard that set up that three technique. He set him up and he's falling in. The lane is there. He goes and he takes a bad angle to the linebacker. But again, you can see right here where the hole is right there. Just check it out. It's moving. Oh, he misses. All you have to do is make sure you get on the right angle. You can see that the lines. Look at the hole. Look at that hole that was there. He's just got to cover the backer, and he'd be off to the races. Let's go. The trap right here. You can see it's right there. And you had a safety come up, but it still would have been a 7-8 yard play minimum. And at any time you can get a 7-8 yard play minimum. I'm going to show you Penn State next. So stay tuned. Don't leave me. Okay, because that's going to be what I'm going to show you is how you can get free yardage. And looking at this here, this is Carolina now. So the trap works in the NFL, the Skins, the Panthers. We need more of it in college. And you can do it from shotgun. Look, shotgun right here. What are you going to do? You're going to see the right guard is going to trap. Did you see the left guard? Did you see that? He influences outside. He sets up that defensive lineman. It's a little bit of acting, so even offensive linemen can even be actors. And how good they are depends on how good it comes off. He steps. Look at that hole. It's not that big for a running back, but it happens so quickly. So it's like pop, 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 like that. He influences out, pop, get whacked, trap, whack, whack, trap. Look at this. It's beautiful. He doesn't even have good body bend, but he still gets the job done. He gets up. Look at the two offensive linemen on the backers. That's just a great run there by the running back. That is the trap. Please, everyone that's coaches at college, high school. High school is probably still running a lot of that, but bring back the trap. They're good plays. You're wasting opportunity. Because you know why? If you bring back a trap now, you'll be ahead of the wheel. Because the wheel hasn't come back with the trap yet, total trap. So if you could bring the trap in now, it's going to take a year or two for them to remember how to defend it. Can you imagine now the trap going against all this twisting and stunts that they do against the run? Are you kidding me? That would eat it up. They would just go with it. If anyone tries to cross your face, you just go with them. They're at a bad power angle advantage. The trap, it would be huge in college football today. WVU, Coach Brown, I'm begging you, man, put a trap in there. Maybe you already have it. I just haven't seen it. And maybe you do, and I'm speaking out of turn. But I want to go ahead and get into this Penn State again. And I gave you 4 high plays yesterday, and I'm going to give you the same amount today. I'm going to give you 5 plays. Now, 4 of them are running plays, but I really like this, and I picked these out because I want to show you the run game. We got 1 passing play here, just for all you guys that want to RPO pass. You want to do that. That's cool too. So as I go right here, I'm looking at this. Okay, 8 on 7. Can you see that? You got 5 offensive linemen. You got 6 with the H-back / tight end. He's in a 1-by-1 hip placement, quarterback, and running back. Again, with West Virginia's quarterbacks, both of them, they are quarterbacks that can run balls, so they're going to have to count them in the box. You couldn't do it with Jared Deggy. Couldn't do it with JT Daniels, but you can do it with Nico or JT, right? Either one. 8 on 7 here. Guess what? So that means that the number is what? That they outnumber. Now look at this defensive placement. I don't understand defenses today. They're not covering the gaps along the box. If you don't cover the gaps along the box, I don't get. You're finding more of these stunts and twists, what I was just alluding to with the trap. But you're finding more of these stunts and twists, and they're not covering each and every gap. You have to have gap integrity. Gap integrity. Here's Penn State with a defense here. I think that's Minnesota. I'm not sure, but without gap integrity. Look at this. Look at that whole backfield right there behind this one line. You have one linebacker here over the left guard. We'll get that end zone shot in there. But look at this. Look at this hole. Oh, my goodness. That hole right there. Are you kidding me? What kind of integrity is this? How do you fill this up? There's not anybody there. You see, they're all gapping down except for the one over the tight end who's going to go man coverage because this is man free. Again, it's 8 on 7. And look at this. And so now you have the outside safety walked up and came around. Look at this big hole. Everybody's going this way, and the safety's going outside. But then the safety over the tight end is what? He's doing a one route, an arrow route. So he's following him. And look what hole this leaves. Where is that? RPO. That's why you do it. Your numbers, RPO, run, pass, option. Well, I'm looking at, I have 8 people. It's okay. The more people in the box, it's still, you can do it. The numbers are good. And I tell you, even sometimes when the numbers are even, you still got to be able to run it when you want to run it. That's what a hard edge running team is. Being still able to run even when the numbers are not in your favor. Let's go ahead and keep looking. Look at this offensive line coming up. Boy, I tell you, that is some good stuff. They're moving, they're clearing, and they're not getting a chance here. Let's take a look right here at the end zone shot. All right. No, this is what I mean about no D integrity. You see here, the 5 technique, wide 5, maybe you call it a 9, whatever you want to do, outside 79, the right tackle. You see a 2-eye at 77, the right guard. You see a 4-eye on the tackle, 74 to left tackle, and you see a head up 6 on the tight end, even though he's 1 by 1. And then you see an outside backer, and watch this. This man's going to walk up here to the edge of safety. See him coming? See the safety coming to the edge. Look at how this whole defense shifts down this way. He comes wide, and you're going to put this hole here. Now, is that great defense? Is that how you play defense? Leaving these holes right here? No, it's because you're trying to do stuff. You're trying to move. You're trying to create stunts. You're trying to create penetration so that you can get those TFLs. How was Oklahoma in the top 10 or 11 in tackles for losses, but in the bottom 111th in yards against? I said this before. It was because they're doing these stunts and tackle formation, but they don't. When they get burned, they get burned. No D integrity. There you go. Again. Yeah, he's celebrating touchdown because did you see it? Did you see all the defenders going to their left? Wow, he follows tight end out. And again, it's just, wow, this is for real, man. This is Division I Power 5 leaving holes like this. I mean, golly, maybe I should go back to coaching. I don't know, because as a defensive coordinator, that is not solid defense. Let's hear. Now we're 9 on 8 in box, right? You see that H down here at the bottom, but he's a tight end. So he's a 1 by 1, or he might even be stacked behind the tight end. But you got 9 in the box versus 8 defenders here against Michigan State. You got to roll it. Watch it come up. The box is still heavy. But they still want to run. This is nothing more than a split zone. Split zone. Now, if you go back and watch this, okay, contain. Where is contain? Now, you saw the contain on the last play, but he was like 5 yards outside contain, and they gave up a whole gap when that defender followed the tight end in man coverage. No, someone's got to slam that down. You can't have that big of a hole there. I showed you that. But now Where is the contain? This is Michigan State. All right, this is Michigan State. Where is the contain? Because what are they doing again? They're moving, but somebody still has to have contain to the outside. Am I making sense? There's somebody out there listening to what I'm saying here. Again, 9 in the box. That's why he's going ahead and he's going and taking this. Also, look up here at number 2 receiver. Remember, go outside. Number 1 receiver. That's number 2 receiver on the hash. Okay, you got a defender right there, that nickel back right there. I'm assuming is that. And you don't want to do anything out here, RPO, with a junk yardage. So what do you do? 9 on 8. We'll take it. Our numbers are good. We're running split zone. That means that this H tight end is coming across. And usually what you try to do is kick this defensive end out. Because what's this defensive end? What's his rule? If an offensive lineman, number 74, the left tackle, if he goes down and away, something's coming back at you. It's a rule that defensive linemen live by. And so you can see here that H tight end is coming for the defensive end. But what does he do? He throws his outside shoulder inside for that gap. Okay? But then what does that mean? What does that mean? Where's the contain? Right? Where's the contain? I mean, again, let's 9 on 8. You can count him up here. He's okay. So that H-back is stacked over the tight end. And you see the defender all the way to the left over 74. And what happens? He wrong shoulders it, meaning is that he's filling that gap. Someone's got to have contain. I don't know. Is the linebacker supposed to have contain? Is 74 right there? This guy too, by the way, is Fashanu, 6'6", 320 pounds. He was a sophomore here. Now he's going to be a junior. This is what the Mountaineers have to look for. The big man. This offensive lineman, 74, Fashanu, is a stud, a baller. And that's just legit. I can't even get around that. He just is. But contain, there is no contain. Are you telling me that defenses are better today or the schemes are better? They have better athletes? Where's the contain? There's no contain. You got to have someone that's going to make the running back go back to the rest of the troops. You have to have contain. Outside pressure in. There's nothing right there. I think I made my point, and you'll see it here again. Wrong shoulders it. You can't wrong shoulder. You got to have your outside shoulder free as a defensive end. If you're contained, if it's the linebacker, well, then you better do a better job of getting down. Big yardage. You know, the funny thing is that's big yardage, but they're not doing much. They're not doing much. That's good RPO, understanding the run, pass option. But with all this, okay, with all of this, you're losing the integrity of the defense. I don't like it. Let's go. Move on. 8 on 6 now. So now you have 5 offensive linemen. You got the tight end, makes it 6, running back, and quarterback, because the quarterback is a threat in this Penn State offense. And Frank said, didn't happen much, if at all, with D'Antonio and Narduzzi were together at MSU. Yeah, that's right. Not last year, Frank. Not last year. I agree. I know that's got to hurt you. I understand. That's Frank Fair, everybody coming in and saying that. But let's go ahead and break this down. Now, we have 8 on 6. You see at the bottom, the cornerback is playing up tight, maybe press bail. You have no idea. And then you see the backs up there as well. How many are in the box? Well, what you're seeing here is you got 6 in the box. You have 2 defensive linemen down. You got the 5 technique, the 6 technique over the tight end, 5 outside the tackle, and 2 backers, right? Okay, here we go. 8 on 6. He's going to call the run. Why? Because the numbers are there. Probably pretty much he doesn't like it. I don't like when you see the number 2 receiver up top. When you see that number 2 receiver up top and you see that nickel back within 5 yards. I don't like trying to hit the outside receiver, the number 1 receiver at the top, because he's got those free yards, because that nickel back could go ahead and jump that 5-yard hitch for the receiver out there. So the idea is not to throw it out there, as I talked about it, because it's got to be a different situation, different formation, different leverage of the nickel back. And then now here you got 9 or 8 on 6, and good call. Quarterback hands the ball off, and right again. Now we got another thing. Okay, contain. Who's got contain? Well, I'm going to assume this is that this linebacker here has contained. Okay, you see right there the containment is that, because again, they're playing a stunt. Okay, the defensive lineman is going down inside. They're all there. And then you have the nut, which is the nose over the tackle. Tackle goes first. The defensive tackle I'm talking about, it's a nut. It's a nut set. The nose comes around. There we go. We'll watch it keep going. You have contained. He's too late, though. So, again, we're looking at these running backs. Look at this running back. And that running back, I want you to see, is a freshman. I think that's a Singleton young man right there. And I want you to get a piece of this talent. I showed you the left tackle. And that, so, again, yeah, Singleton. Running backs, really very good. Really very good. And the Mountaineers going to have to watch this. And let's take a look at it. Okay. Oh, look at it. I got the arrows going, man. Little cha-cha-cha, right? Okay, let's take a look at it here. As you're looking at number 17, the 6 technique. This is a 6 technique with your head up on the tight end. You can see that. He's going to pitch down into the B gap here, inside the tackle. Let's flip it over here to the 5 technique, number 40, defensive end. He's going to pitch down into the B gap. Then you're going to see 55. This is a nut stud. Okay, so it's going to be here with the tackle is going to go first. He's going to nut around. We call that just the 1 technique. You can see it here. Okay, he's more he's a gap player right there, too high maybe with the inside shoulder of the guard. But look at contain here with the backers. So what I'm doing here is watch 17. Look at him pitch down. He's got no outside contain. No outside contain whatsoever. You can see here the stunt. I have no idea. These guys are doing the stunt here. And what happens? So right here is contained with the linebacker, and he needs to get up there faster. If you're going to meet this running back, if Lee Kolba, okay, Lee, I know how good you are, man. If Lee is up there and you see that, and you got contained, you better get up to the line of scrimmage and have that contained because these running backs are pretty phenomenal. Very, very phenomenal for Penn State. And you can just see the speed. And what do I always tell you? Speed kills. Okay, so now we have here 9 and 7. We got the pistol. Oh, pistola right here. That's the backfield. And you're going to see the tight end down here and the tight end. So you actually have 12 personnel. You can't see the guy over my picture right there underneath it. It's right there. So it's 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, 1 running back. It's pistol backfield. And what are you going to see? Again, running. Oh, it's a split zone again because you're bringing the tight end across, the H back there, split zone, 9 on 7. He's choosing up good. Again, where is the gap integrity? Look at it. Okay, you have 9 on 7. Why are they not bringing in gap integrity? This is a different team. This isn't even Michigan State, Frank. Not even Michigan State. Check it out. It's move. Look at 74. Oh, he's a man crusher. He's a mover and shaker, man. He's going to move defensive linemen. Ooh, check it out here in the end zone shot. Now, what are you looking at here? Okay, so this is what we call a 73 defense, a double eagle. You got a head up here on the center with the nose guard straight out. That's a 0 technique. You have on the left guard here, you have a 3 technique, and the right guard, you got a 3 technique. Then you got the 9 technique to the tight end, and another 9 technique. So that's the 73. Some people call it double eagle, and you have the 2 kickers. Now, what I don't understand is you're going to shift these linebackers over to the strength here. I would rather put it where I can get. This guy's going to go for A gaps. I think that's asking a lot, but regardless, that's the way they're playing it. Let's watch it. You're outnumbered, man. You're outnumbered right there. Oh, it's so offensive line. Come off the ball. Watch the left tackle. 74. Van Nusa. Yep. He's a man eater. He's a moving. Just a dude, man. Just a something happened right there. For going off. Not too bad for going off issues. running from all kinds of stuff. So, that was any question. Right. Well, it looks like my juice is gone. I have no idea. Thank you, everybody. If you can hear me, take care. I'm going to have to go right to commercial. It's an hour and 15 minutes. Thursday, we'll come back and we will break down a lot more Penn State film, a lot more film of plays I like, showing you, teaching you as much as I can if you're interested. All right. Thank you so much for everybody. Thanks to Frank Fear, Alex Martin, Mike Rollins, Keith Hawkins for joining, participating as always. My friends, thank you so much. And this is WolfMan's. And we'll see you later.